Nearly 10 quarters have passed since the war with the humans drew to a close, yet the remnants of that fierce conflict still cast long shadows over our lives. One evening, my comrades and I stepped into a lively human establishment, a bar that, at first glance, radiated an unassuming warmth. However, as we took in the surroundings, an unmistakable feeling of unease set in. It was as if every eye was silently counting our past transgressions, and the remnants of our once unyielding confidence began to fade away. Back in the early days of the war, our kind had been full of hubris. We had believed that humans, with their diminutive physiques and seemingly simplistic ways, were mere fodder for our ambitions. They appeared feeble compared to our imposing stature and technologically advanced weaponry. Our initial encounters, fueled by arrogance, had quickly confirmed our assumptions, or so we thought. When we captured several humans during a raid on one of their outlying colonies, we subjected them to a battery of tests. The results were both astonishing and unsettling. While they were physically unremarkable, their mental faculties, particularly their extraordinary aptitude for mathematical calculations, far exceeded our expectations. It turned out that the precision of their arithmetic was not just a trivial skill, it underpinned their revolutionary approach to warfare. In the early stages of combat, our superiority in space was unquestioned. Our spacecraft, designed with cutting-edge technology, easily outclassed those of the humans. This advantage allowed us to secure initial victories and project our dominance over the battlefield. However, as the conflict spilled over from the void of space to the unforgiving terrain of planetary surfaces, the human spirit of adaptability revealed itself in alarming ways. I recall one mission with stark clarity. My closest companions and I advanced confidently toward the enemy lines, about 1,000 meters away, believing that our distance ensured our safety. In that moment of presumed invincibility, the unexpected struck. A sudden, silent explosion shattered the calm, and with it, the life of our revered leader, Scarla. The blast was as swift as it was merciless, leaving us reeling from disbelief. Within moments, reports confirmed the presence of a human firearm capable of inflicting fatal damage at a distance we had never anticipated. Our initial confidence was irreversibly eroded. The humans had turned their focus to guerrilla tactics. Ambushes became their weapon of choice, catching us unawares whenever we ventured too close. When we managed to close the gap without detection, our foes often fell swiftly and without mercy. But more frequently, we found ourselves outmaneuvered, struggling to adapt to strategies that had been refined under the crucible of conflict. The humans began to employ a curious mix of countermeasures. They unleashed plumes of smoke to obscure our advanced laser-guided targeting systems and introduced devices they termed flashbangs. These explosive contraptions were designed to disorient, their bursts of light and sound crippling our once reliable sensory apparatus. Many of our veterans bore the physical and mental scars from these assaults, some even rendered permanently impaired. Despite our technological superiority and the impressive armament of our heavily armored vehicles, human ingenuity had found a way to level the playing field. They developed indirect fire techniques that exploited the limitations of our defenses. Arcing projectiles, launched from well-hidden positions, found their marks with a precision that defied conventional tactics. Our once formidable anti-missile systems could detect launches but were helpless against the unyielding momentum of a solid metal shell hurtling toward us. Ultimately, the war ground to a halt, not through a single decisive battle, but rather through a gradual, mutual exhaustion of resources and will. Even now, as we stand on the precipice of a delicate peace, the memories of combat and loss linger in our minds. The hope for reconciliation remains fragile, suspended between the desire for amends and the ever-present memory of betrayal. That fateful evening, seated at an empty table within the human bar, my packmates and I ordered food and drink. The ambiance was a curious blend of tension and camaraderie, the shared space symbolizing a tentative step toward healing old wounds. Across the room, a group of humans engaged in a game that required delicate precision, a contest of skill where a small white ball was struck with finesse to pocket its colored counterparts in designated holes on a table. The challenge was met with an air of playful competitiveness. Unexpectedly, the humans invited us to join their game. The invitation, simple yet profound, carried the weight of a long-forgotten camaraderie. As I exchanged glances with my packmates, I could see a spark of optimism ignite. In that moment, it seemed as though the old enmity might finally give way to genuine understanding. We accepted the challenge, eager to demonstrate that while our species had once clashed with ferocity, perhaps our superior coordination and fine motor skills could now forge a new bond, a bridge from the ashes of war to a future defined by mutual respect and the celebration of our differences. Thus, beneath the flickering neon lights of the bar and amidst murmurs of past battles, we began a slow and deliberate journey toward peace, one game at a time.